Welcome, everybody. We know that it is 2024, a brand new year. And what happens, Isaiah, in a brand new year? What does everybody do? What are we all guilty of?
Telling lies of
Telling
what we're going to do
lies.
different.
So you wake up at the end of December, it's New Year's Eve. You wake up and you say, today's the day I'm going to start all of my goals. I'm going to be a new person, right? You just shed all that dead weight.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get right in the gym. You're gonna be consistent. Everything you didn't do the year before, you're gonna do it full
You're,
force. Just
you're
because
going
the
to do
day
it full force.
changes, everything changes.
Okay, so you would say you're guilty of that.
Oh yeah, I've been guilty a couple years
Yeah, me
doing
too.
that.
Me too. Last year, my biggest goal was to get in the gym. And I think
How'd that go?
you know what?
You went.
You know what? I'm heavier this year than I was last. But on a serious note, the biggest thing is what? Let's set your goals, let's plan, and let's talk about how much time it takes to really get there. And some of the best steps to kind of kick those bad habits that we have when we set goals in a brand new year and we have these high expectations. How do we get over that? And what are some things we can do to achieve our goals to its full level?
Okay. Yeah, let's get into it. Because the biggest thing that I see about falling off from goals, these resolutions that we set, the everything that we want to do different, it's good intention behind it,
Mhm.
but is there really intention behind it?
Okay.
It's a good idea, but how are you going to carry that out? And a lot of the times I see is the focus getting thinner and thinner and thinner. We start the year with a full tank of focus, but as it goes on, ooh, it just dwindles. I mean, by the end of the first quarter, then
So let's talk about that. Like, what do you feel makes us build up that courage right before the beginning of the year and make us feel like we're going to accomplish everything? And then once that brand new year starts and we just stop, what do you think the roadblock is? And what do you think all of that adrenaline is like caused from?
okay. So I think the idea of new beginnings, we all we all like something fresh. We all like something new. We all like to get excited about what's to come.
Right.
When we don't know what's going on and we don't have that level of ooh,
Ooh,
how you say
new
that word?
year. Open up the
Familiarity.
dictionary.
New year, new words. Okay. So
We're going to skip over that one.
anyway, so everything that we done that we typically do is familiar, right?
Right.
So there's no anticipation when you know what's going to happen. So a lot of people wake up on Monday morning or go to bed Sunday night and they're dreading the week and it hasn't even started yet.
True.
And that's
Yeah.
because they know what's to come.
Yeah.
It's the same routines, but when you have a new year, that's you don't know what's happening.
The expectations, well, the goal is to think about what you could possibly do differently, right? You
Hmm.
don't have any expectations. You're just
Hmm.
like, it's at my fingertips. I can make and create anything I want.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like as soon as the year is like gearing up to start, you
Hmm.
have that anticipation. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to come, but I have a good feeling. Most people go into the new year with a good feeling. I know
Yeah.
some people who don't, but a lot of
Well, we
people
should all go into the new year with a
you
good
should,
feeling.
you should, you should. The best is always yet to come. So I think it's those feelings, and then you hit a roadblock.
Yeah.
You ever been to a motivational meeting or motivational event?
Oh, yeah. The minute you go to a motivational event, you are fired up. I mean, you sit in the chair, you see everybody around you, everybody is clapping, cheering. I mean, the energy is just
Hmm.
contagious. And then you leave a week later and you're like,
Once you get to it
can I do this?
usually carries on that level of motivation, that energy, that drive until you
Mhm.
hit that first obstacle.
So, what you would say when you leave a, let's use that as an example, you leave something motivational,
Mhm.
um, and you have that drive, you would say you would need something like that on a daily basis, right? You need a weekly dose of that. You need
Mhm.
to kind of kick yourself in the behind on a regular day to day basis to keep that consistency.
Right. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that would be the roadblock
Mhm.
that's stopping people from continuing their New Year's goals is that consistency. How do I keep it going past January, past February, and then, March is where we fall off. That's where I fell off my weight goals. But
So we're keeping that consistency, right?
yeah.
Okay, so how can we tie in goal setting into keeping that consistency? How can we keep our focus by setting goals? What do you say?
Okay. Well, there's a few ways, you can do it. And I know for myself, um, last year, even though I didn't accomplish my weight goals, I accomplished a lot of goals just simply by making sure I had a system in place and check marks.
Hmm.
Um, I would say always focusing on, your quarterly your quarters. There's 4 quarters in a year, right?
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that you're mapping it out, not over in the big picture. You don't want to start from January and go all the way to December and say this is what I need to do, because it's just so vague. There's just too much room for mistakes.
Lots of
And if you
roadblocks.
don't have a specific drive for that goal, you're literally not going to do it.
Right.
We're all guilty of it, as we are saying. So, staying focused on the quarters, I would say, is one of the things that has always helped me stay motivated and accomplish the goals that I needed to. Would you agree?
I do. I feel like things are, and I'm going to go into this a little bit later, but things are built
Hmm.
over time. Houses don't get built in one day.
Nope.
You have to establish the foundation and then just move through the rest of the steps to get that completed thing.
Right.
Even you can get something from IKEA. It doesn't come built. And you have to go through step one. You
You
can't
got to
start it.
build it.
Yeah, you can't start at the last step.
No.
So I think it's almost like the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We do not eat elephants. Anyway, I know how people get I know how people get online. But it's like you gotta it's one step at a time. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time, right?
Hmm.
You can't look at the mountain. If you look at trying to get to the top, you're gonna say, okay,
You'll
that's
never start.
yeah, you're never
You'll
gonna
never
start. It's
start.
too
Yeah.
daunting of a task.
Hmm.
So by breaking it up, you're able to have action steps that say, okay, I'm moving towards this goal. And I know if I hit this intermediate goal, then I'm on my way to hitting that major goal by the end of the year. So
Yeah.
I agree with you, Jeanette. Quarters are the best way to break it up, just like businesses do.
Yeah. And, we talk finance and we talk real estate.
Mhm.
So give us some tips. Give everybody some tips on what you would recommend if they had a financial goal they were trying to accomplish in 2024.
Okay. So what I would say is, as I first said, realize that things have to be built towards.
Okay.
So the financial planning, and have a lot of my clients. I try to help them understand that this isn't a one shot thing. This isn't we sit down today and it's done. You're rich
You're
tomorrow.
rich tomorrow. Yeah.
No, it's putting the initial meeting puts the plan in place, and then it's the steps and carrying out each simple thing to get there.
Right.
Okay, so what I would say, what you need to do first is establish what you want. What do you want out of 2024?
Right.
What do you want to see for yourself? Is it home ownership? Do you want to see more money in your month?
Hmm.
Do you want to save and invest more money, or even start saving?
Hmm.
Control
Or
a
learn
budget.
just about it in general. Hmm.
Clear up some debt, which ends up adding more money in your month. But these are different things that you can piece together, and it'll create a comprehensive financial plan to move you toward your goals
So
to where
getting
you're trying to
clear,
get.
concise on
Mhm.
what your goal is, so you can just knock every other equation out of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because in the financial world, if you complete things like, let's say you have some debt, that's some revolving debt that you're paying towards each month, but you need to save more money
Right.
and you're not saving any money. A lot of that's the statistics for a lot of people out here. I
Hmm.
just took a look at the housing budget index before we walked in here. 76% of people are saying their income has fell below inflation.
Mm.
So the cost of
Not
living
catching up. Yeah.
is not catching up.
Mhm.
The cost of living is rising way higher. And instead of people spending less, they just save less money
Mhm.
and then use credit cards, which ends up putting you back into that cycle,
Mhm.
right? So if we set a goal, say if a goal was to clear up some debt, now you don't have as much, you clear that up, you don't have as much money coming out per month.
Mhm.
So you have that extra money to save. You have that extra money to put towards these goals because it might be buying a home and you might not be in a position. But knocking through these different steps will allow you to move towards that in a way of clearing up some credit. That
Mhm.
kind of, it's like a domino effect. A lot of these goals that we have, um, if we move towards them, we're going to clear up some things. We're
Okay.
going to be able to hit those bigger goals that we have. A lot of people have goals of retirement, right? So I would say an
And that's
initial
a
goal.
more in-depth process because I mean, you
Hmm.
have your goal set, you got it clear, concise, then you go and you reach out to somebody to help you accomplish that goal if you're trying to reach retirement, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So I would say for average listener out there, who are you sitting with? Who are you sitting? Who's holding you accountable? Who are you making these plans with?
Yeah.
Because we have to think about our environment as well.
Because if you don't already know, you need to seek out the ones who do.
You do.
Mhm.
Professionals, not people. We see people with information everywhere,
Correct.
but how do you vet that information?
Correct.
How do you understand that, okay, this is the best route based off of results that have been gotten, different testimonials, and this person actually is legally in
Yeah.
place to put this together for me,
Mhm.
right? And with that, you say with a financial professional such as myself, and what I would do in an initial meeting is establish, okay, where's point B?
Mhm.
Where are you trying to get to?
Right.
Okay, and then we can determine how we're going to get there,
Mhm.
right? And I always like to start with a financial needs analysis because that determines your financial independence number.
Okay.
And for those you who do not know, a financial independence number is the amount of money you need to accumulate so you can live off that interest and never have to go back to work without having to touch your principal, right?
And
So
that's an essential step, a critical step, you would say, to move forwards in that, financial goal. Whatever
mhm,
the financial goal is, that would be a essential step.
yeah,
Okay.
because how do you hit your goal if you don't know what you're aiming for,
Correct.
right? You can
Mhm.
you can fall short.
And that's establishing the clear, concise
Hmm.
goal that you're setting. It's following that path, making sure that's the one of the steps in making sure that you're getting clear.
Yes,
Mhm.
get that clarity. That I would say that's definitely the initial step
Mhm.
for moving forwards into what it is you want to get out of 2024. Just taking those steps to sit down with someone and lay it all out there, say, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. How do I get there?
Yeah.
And once you have that plan in place, stick to it.
Consistency. What do we say at the beginning? Consistency.
Hmm. But, and not but, alongside of consistency,
Mhm.
accountability.
Okay.
Do you have
Do
it?
you need to seek out accountability? Can you give yourself your own accountability? What is your advice on accountability?
My personal opinion on accountability, you need an accountability partner because if you're not someone, it's easy to say that you're holding yourself accountable for something, but there's a whole lot of room for error, a whole lot of room to slip up
Because we lie to ourselves.
every year.
January 1st, every
January
year, we're
1st.
lying.
Yes. So we need that outside accountability because it's easy to say, like, it's cold outside. I don't want to get up in the early morning, go to the gym and
Mhm.
do what I need to do. I don't I don't feel like it. Or I have XYZ to do that just popped up onto my calendar, popped onto my schedule that takes me out of this rhythm.
Right.
Because a lot of
Yeah.
people we all start off strong in the beginning of the year.
Oh, we're a different go-getter at the beginning of the year.
But
Mhm.
that first obstacle that kills that motivation, that's the hurdle. If we can get past that hurdle, I think it's a domino effect and a chain reaction of saying, okay, I'm a completer, I'm a finisher, I'm a
Yeah.
overcomer.
Yeah. Yeah, I sit with you there on all of those points, and it's really critical to keep us moving, and to keep us excited.
Yes, definitely. Gotta stay excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna rain. Things are gonna happen. Problems are gonna arise. That excitement, that's half the battle. your attitude, that's half the battle right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned some people might have the goal of becoming a homeowner.
Correct.
Okay, so what would you say, Jeanette, are some goals that people could have that can help them move towards that in this year? Or if it's for next year, to get them in position to be a homeowner next year?
Well, with home ownership, you want to take a few steps prior to the beginning of the year, because it's not just you can wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to go buy a house, you know?
Mhm.
It's really, a 2 year almost in advance type of step you want to take. So if you are looking to seek that out and this is the year that you want to do that, go back a few years and say, okay, have I worked a consistent job? Have I done what I needed to do, on my taxes and all of that kind of stuff financially to set yourself in the right position to, get qualified for a mortgage. But if you have and you can check those marks off and 2024 is your year, then of course you always want to start off with some research and some education. You don't ever want to go into anything completely blind.
Definitely.
And where you get your information, like you said, is very essential.
Mhm.
You don't want to just scroll through TikTok and see whatever the biggest home hack is, because there's plenty out there.
Mhm.
And although some are very useful, some are also not you. It's not where you're at in life. It's you're not, in that position to utilize it. So, of course, getting with the right professional, real estate agent, someone like myself, your lender, anybody to get the right information and make sure that it's the right set for you at that moment in time.
Mhm.
So, seeking that professional guidance. Focus on the affordability aspect as well. We know beginning of the year interest rates are dropping, so woo, nice clap for that. Um, at the top of last year, it was looking a little less than it is now, kind of familiar, and it just waved all throughout the year. We didn't know what to expect. So always staying on top of the affordability aspect of it. Yes, you looked at the past few years and you looked at your finances before you started. But is the interest rates a position which you're comfortable? Are you comfortable in this price point versus the other price point? Do some shopping around and see what makes sense for you, just despite what you're qualified for with your mortgage options. And then just long term perspectives, because this might be the year you buy, but you need to look a few years down the line as well, because you're looking back, you're looking present, you're looking into the future a little bit,
Right.
because you need to see what that looks like. Do you want to stay in this home for 2+ years? Do you want to stay in this home as like, this is it, I'm going to start a family here, I'm going to be here for 10 years? So kind of tapping onto what you're saying, getting very clear, concise about what you're setting for yourself, and then marking these little checkpoints off, answering those questions. And if everything is green, go for it. This is your year. This is 2024. You start your goals at the beginning,
Right.
you work through them throughout, and at the end, you reflect and you congratulate yourself and pat yourself on the back because you did it.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
Definitely, because it all starts with a plan, right?
Hmm.
It all starts with taking a look at where you're trying to go, how you're going to get there, and just saying, okay, let's be real with ourselves this year. A lot of times I see people out here trying to circumnavigate the system, circumnavigate and run from the work, run from the legitness of what you have to do and what needs to be done to get in these positions to buy a home or
Hmm.
be in position to retire with dignity,
Hmm.
or even retire or just live life in a way that you see fit.
Right.
And you're completely right about taking a look at your budget, at your housing budget. Can you afford this?
Right.
Does it make even if you do get approved, does it make sense to afford this?
And it all pairs together. I mean, what you say and what I'm saying, it's really all pairing together. So you might have a financial goal at the beginning of the year. You might also have a home ownership goal. Those are all kind of two in the same, one in the
Hmm.
same. So you always want to, you might have different goals. Like I said, I tried to work out last year. You never know what the goals are. This can pertain to every single one of them. But of course, if that is what you're looking for, that's what we're here to help you with. And as always, we are your professionals. So please like, subscribe, share to anybody who might be needing this advice as well. As always, Jeanette Johnson with Century 21 Connect Realty.
Isaiah Lives with Primerica Mortgage and Primerica Financial Services.
Have a great 2024, and we'll see you next time.
Definitely tune in.